Hello everyone, and welcome to my very compact and complex passcode redstone door. So, as you can see, it's 9 digits. Here's the basic door right here. Has a reset button, and it's this nice wall right here with a bunch of stuff behind it. So here's the passcode right here, 4415, and yes, you can use two numbers of the same kind, or you can use 4, or you can use 3, or you can just put any number you want there. It's just 4 numbers. It's a pin door. So let's go ahead, reset this, and enter in the passcode. So 4 4 1 5. Go up to the door, and we're in. Now, just to show that I'm not messing with you, I can reset this again. It normally auto resets itself. So if I enter 4 4 1 1, the incorrect password, the door will not open. In fact, it will reset itself. So you don't have to press the reset button, but you can if you want to make sure. So this is the compact redstone. It's kind of complex as well. So this part here, I'm just going to explain each section. There's I'm not going to count them, but there's a few sections. This is the first section, which is the input. It takes the input right here. It's spread out here. If you want to build this yourself, I'm just looking around so you can see it. You have the reset button here. They follow a path. I'm just going to take a look in here, so if you want to, you can pause the video and look at how it's built. And you have some redstone up here. And I'll zoom out a bit. So this is the input. It comes into these 9 rows, and then there's the reset button, which goes here. This is basically a repeater and an inverter, so I put that there. And all these levers here, what in the world are these levers for? Well, the levers that are down are the numbers that are being used in the password. And by the way, these are not in order because of the way it's spread out. If you look here, this is 4 7 1 5 2 3 9 6 and 8. So the only numbers that are being used are these 3 levers that are down, which are 4 1 and 5, which the password is 4415. So this here is what sets up what numbers are used and what numbers are not used. Now, if the levers are up, then this torch will turn on when the button is pressed for that number. So if you press 2, it will turn this torch on, which will power this, which will go down this redstone line, which will reset it. The next part to this is the actual passcode part, and it's these 4 large things right here, which are very complex and have a lot of inverting and a bunch of stuff like that. So if I go down here, first thing we're going to look at is the RS NOR latch. So this is the RS NOR latch right here, which if you power this side turns on, and if you power this side turns on, and it stays there. So when you get the correct password in, or the correct number for this section, it will turn this side on here, putting these pistons down, allowing the next input to go through. So if I reset this, all the reset thing does here is it goes into here, and it powers this block, which then resets this RS NOR latch. When the RS NOR latch is on, it powers the pistons, but make sure that you have at least 3 repeaters on the maximum ticks for them. That way, if the button stays down, it doesn't go through and automatically reset it. Next is, if we look back here, here's the input for this section. It immediately goes into a block with a torch on top, which is an inverter, and it comes out the back end as well. The back end goes down to here, which is where it would continue, but it can't do that because the pistons aren't down. So where does this torch go? This torch goes up to the next block, which when this turns off, this would turn on, and it splits into two ways of redstone. So this first one here is going to split to here, power this redstone here, turn off this torch, then turn back on this torch, if the lever is not on. What this does is it makes sure it is the right password, in a way. Here's what it does. If it's the wrong password, this torch will turn on and power this, which will then come down here and power or turn this torch off. And if the password hasn't been entered in yet for this one, this will turn on, powering this, which this redstone line resets the whole password. So that's what these levers here and these torches here are for. Now the one that is correct, you have it on, which is 4, so we turn this lever on. The other way the torches go is up. So this will turn this off. When this turns on, this will turn off, which will then turn this on. Now, we also have levers here, and the one that is correct is off. The ones that are incorrect are on. As you can see, the levers are down, which is on. That means this torch won't turn on. So if the correct password is in, this will turn on, power this, come down here, and flip the RS NOR latch, saying this password is correct, which in turn would turn on the pistons, and then the next code can be entered. This complex task here is repeated 4 times, and the last one does not need pistons because it doesn't need to continue. So that very complex section there is repeated 4 times for 4 passcodes, for 4 digits being entered. You could repeat this even more to create more. Now, let's go over how the reset works. I partially did that. It goes in here and flips the RS NOR latch, which it does that for all 4. The problem is that there is this AND gate right here, which tells it to go on, which resets it. This also resets it. This AND gate does it as well, and this AND gate does it as well. They are too far apart, and you need repeaters to do this. You also have this reset here and this reset here. But if you have a repeater only goes one way. So here's a 2-way repeater here, where it'll work either way and reset everything. Now, when the RS NOR latch is flipped, it powers this redstone line here, and this RS NOR latch, which is digit number 2, powers this redstone line here. Same with the next one, powers the one underneath that, and then the next one. And what this redstone line does is when it is powered, it goes to this 4 input AND gate. When this torch turns off, this torch turns off, this torch and this torch turns off, this powers off, this torch turns on, and this line goes to the door. And this line here goes to resetting, which would then close the door a little bit after it turns on, after it opens. So in the end, it's somewhat basic, but you can set up all the passcodes that you want in here. If you wanted to, you could use multiple passwords. And the problem is if you decide to do that with the lever setup, if you choose to do 2 passwords, you could mix up those digits and it wouldn't really be a passcode anymore. So I recommend you keep it at the same as 1 password. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that this works. So we just did 4415. I'm going to change the password to 1234. So let's find where 1 is. Let's flip these all up so we can set this up. My mouse froze and my keyboard froze. That was weird. Okay, so we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. So we find 1. So 4's here, so 4's down. 1's here, we turn that down. 2's here, we turn that down. And 3 is here, we turn this down. So these are the only rows we want to pay attention to. The rest can pretty much stay the same. All you have to do is reset them. So we'll put all these down, all these down, all these down, and all these down, along with fixing the ones back here up. So whichever one's the wrong way, make it go the other way, just resetting it back to where there's no correct answer. So right now, no password at all would work. So let's make a password that does work. So let's put 1 in first, which is right here. So this is 1. You'll flip this lever up, and you'll flip this lever. So that's 1. Then we'll do 2, and 2 is here. So we'll go to the next row, flip the lever up, flip the lever to the side. Then we will do 3, and we will go 2 rows over, and then flip this lever up, and flip this lever. And finally, do the last row. If I can find number 4, here's 4. We go to the very end, we flip this lever up, and we flip this to the side, and hopefully I did that right. So let's check the passcode, reset it to make sure everything's working, and now the password's 1234, which would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and let's see if it opens. And it did. Now let's do it backwards and see what happens, because that's obviously wrong. 4, 3, 2, 1. And it doesn't work. So, it has to be the correct password, and you can change the password, and you can use the same digit repeatedly. So this is a very complex, very efficient password door, which you probably never want to use on survival, because all it takes is for someone to, you know, it's pretty simple. Just grab a pickaxe and just, you're in. So, if this is just to practice redstone or to build something that looks cool. Or, I can think of many things to do, but there's no real actual use for this. So that's all for this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and goodbye.